My bug. Suck my bug.
How would you children like to suck on my chocolate salty balls?
Oh, you mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Ladies and freaking gentlemen, welcome back to another edition.
Shit, my best.
Yep.
Suck my
Ooh.
bug.
Okay. Right now,
Bug.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to
Yes, please.
SM
Welcome.
to the B,
Shake my
a
bass.
South Park review.
A very special one, Matt.
Very special one.
Imagine it.
Excited. Okay.
So let's address the elephant in the room. We're not live here. We apologize. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't join us, and we didn't feel like we should go live for the first time without all four of us. So we'll try again next week. But we are rocking and rolling here to record the episode, so it is a special edition. And of course, another reason why I believe it's a special edition, I was telling Scoop as we were watching this episode, look, like, this is a 3-episode story arc about Cartman trying to get Kyle to suck his balls. That is the name of our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And that is what you are listening to, SMB, a South Park review. And we are back, Imagination Land, Part 1. It's the 10th episode of Season 11, and it is the 163rd overall episode. And I need to correct myself from last week. This is now episode 166. We did it again. We messed up the number. I didn't mess up the number on all the information and even the graphics, but I did say at the beginning of the last episode, it was 166. It is not. I'm confusing you. I'm sorry.
Daddy.
We get a lot of things wrong here. We were just so excited for what is the WrestleMania of SMB, Imagination Land.
The WrestleMania. That's a good point. I mean, this episode, it definitely was supposed to be what Matt Stone and Trey Parker wanted it to be. At least was another movie. I mean,
The next movie, yeah.
we'll get into, of course, more thoughts as far as, maybe in the trivia and the pop culture section when we get there. But, I would have to say that it definitely felt like they started this episode hot and they got it rocking and rolling. So let's get into it. All right, but before we jump into the episode, I do also want to shout out Norway. We recently put it out on our podcast platforms. Now, we don't necessarily take these rankings all that seriously because, it's an internet website called Chartable. But shout out to apparently Norway's. We're the #1 television review show in Norway right now. A South Park review. So shout out.
Hello, God Morgan. Behind the clouds, the sky is always blue.
There you go. So shout out to you, which also want to shout out here Brian Belcher, who left a comment. He said, "Love you guys, my favorite podcast, and I always look forward to new content. My favorite episode is the Halloween episode with Korn because that's my favorite band." So shout out to you,
That's a throw.
Brian Belcher.
My daughter just watched that episode.
Yeah, and of course, everyone knows it's not one of my favorite episodes. Like, I think somebody commented on YouTube as well. They were like, they just watched that episode and they came to comment on something. I was like, you know what? You're probably right because I don't like this episode. So I'm not even going to argue with you.
Korn's literally the greatest part.
No, I like Korn. I'm not a big fan of Scooby-Doo. And of course, I'm not a big fan of Supernatural. And I'm not a big fan of these mystery type shows. So if you are, you love that shit. But I did not. So sorry about that.
Damn, Scoop.
Scoop's a big fan though. So you can hit him up and talk Supernatural. And you can talk
Fucking love
Scooby-Doo anytime you want to. He's got a daughter. Probably watch Scooby-Doo again with her.
Or Velma. I hear that's a great show for kids.
Oh, God, no.
And adults alike.
No, it was
bad.
Yeah, this is now a Velma podcast. Velma was horrible. Okay. And I'm not even jumping on the bandwagon of just all the people saying oh my God, Velma be twerking. Get this off my timeline. I'm more like, man, this is a really horrible show. This is just a bad show, Mindy. Come on now.
It's a bad show.
Yeah,
So let's jump into this episode now. When the entire contents of the world's imagination are laid open for them, Stan and Kyle step right in. And South Park, we also see Cartman is going to have, as I mentioned, a arc here in which he gets Kyle to agree contractually that if he can prove that there is a leprechaun, that Kyle has to agree to suck his balls.
One of the dumbest things I've ever heard, man.
It is
Because
no. I disagree, but go ahead.
But it's on Kyle. He is such a moron.
Okay, we said that. We
You
said that.
know how badly Cartman wants Kyle to suck his balls. That's like honestly the point of the show. So like if you're gonna agree to that, you gotta understand, even if there was no leprechaun, Cartman would have fucking gotten like a little person and painted him green. He would have done anything in his power to get those balls sucked.
I said we literally said the same thing as we watched it today. I was like, you know what? Like, this is shame on Kyle for contractually agreeing to this, because he's got to know that Cartman is going to do whatever it takes to get him to suck his balls. And if you say, if I could present a leprechaun, then Cartman's going to do whatever he can to make that happen.
He literally has a lawyer for his dad, and he's gonna be this ignorant.
Yeah, even like the look on his dad's face when he finds out too, it just says it all.
You know, he deserves to get sewn to the back of an Asian man's ass.
Well, we'll get there.
Why can't he read?
So Cartman has the majority of male students of his class out in the woods searching for this leprechaun, is how the episode shows up. And he supposedly says he saw one run by the area 3 days in a row. And like usual, Kyle does not believe him, though Cartman is determined in what he saw and is convinced most of the other boys about it as well. He's even got code names for everybody, like as far as them working with him, Cartman being codenamed Dragonwind. He contacts Kai Donovan, who's codename Evil Hawk, with his walkie-talkie. He then talks to Tolkien Black, which is codename Blackie. And Butterstarch is codename Faggot.
Faggot, go ahead.
Faggot here. who is in a tree keeping lookout. That's what.
Is this why you guys asked me before the show? If only gay guy here on this. This has really happened, viewers. I just want to call this out. hey, only gay guy here. Can we say the F word? I completely gave them the card. This is why I want to bring this up. Honestly, I gave them the card, guys. So let's not all get like fucking like Hogwarts Legacy on these guys. Like,
well, like as we've explained, like I'm not gonna.
It's quotation.
I'm not gonna delve into his stuff, but me personally, I'm asexual, so like obviously, like I don't know. I'm not saying I should be able to say it, but like I'm kind of on the outskirts of the community. It's LGBTQ plus A. Like I'm over here.
More like A.
So now that I think about it, the more that I think about it, if you had a cock in your mouth, you could say faggot all you want. Say it, girlfriend. Queen.
There you
Do
go.
it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen. So Kyle being out in the woods,
That's our word.
Clip this right now. Future Matt.
Edit this out, Matt.
No, clip it.
Oh, clip it. Gotcha.
Clip it. I mean, clip it. Loop it. Save it.
Right.
Snap it.
TikTok it. Kyle tries to get everyone to listen to sense and to tell them that Cartman was only doing this so he could get out of a deal that in which if he couldn't prove there was a leprechaun, he would give Kyle $10.
Okay.
What are you doing, Kyle?
But of course, as we mentioned, if he does prove it, Kyle, he says back. What are you doing, Kyle? What are you doing, Kyle? Butters sees something though, and Tolkien sets off the diversion trap to lure the leprechaun out into the open. So that's where we're going to go to a quick clip here, as we're going to jump into Cartman's opening here with Kyle and the leprechaun and Tolkien Black. And
oh, nice freeze frame.
Yeah, that was the freeze frame before. That's what he mentioned. Remember, he was like, "Oh, nice freeze frame."
Oh, now I see it.
On Jesse Jackson's big old ass.
Last time I saw him, he ran right through here.
Yeah.
This is so retarded, Cartman. You've got everyone believing your stupid story.
It isn't a story, it's true. I saw a leprechaun. I've seen him come through here 3 days in a row now. Hawkeyes, this is Dragonwind. You copy? This is Hawkeyes. We've set up the net and we're static by.
Yeah, okay.
Copy that, Hawkeyes. Keep surveillance tag Alpha Niner. Dragonwind out.
Just admit you're lying, Cartman, so that everyone can go home.
Oh, no. We have a deal, Cal. If I can prove there's a leprechaun, you have to suck my balls, remember? Dragonwind to Blackie. What's your 6, Blackie? I don't want the code name Blackie. Codenames are what they are, Blackie. Check your 6 and alert when
We
it's
need to know what they are.
This is fucking retarded.
Getting nervous, Cal? When that leprechaun shows up, you must suck my balls.
Getting nervous,
Don't forget I
Cal?
have a signed contract from you.
Yeah, and if you couldn't prove there was a leprechaun, you had to give me $10. Now just
Even
pay
got
up and
tweaked
stop
into
being
this.
stupid.
God damn
What
it, why
is
hasn't it
he
shown
doing
up
back
yet?
there? Oh.
Dragonwind to Faggot. Come in,
This
Faggot.
is a mass ball sucking operation right here.
This
It
is
really
faggot.
is.
Go ahead.
This is faggot.
Faggot, I need you to keep surveillance north-northeast. Check back in 5.
Okay, will do. Fag it out.
Pack it out.
Okay, that's enough.
Just the look of despair on his face, though, after he says it is so sad for Buddy.
Yeah, it's like the Chewbacca defense for gay people. We just say that at the end of every phone call. Pack it out.
That was good, Dane. I like that. So,
God bless Butters.
it turns out
Butters.
to be a real leprechaun. As the boys do, a leprechaun does run out into the open, and it dodges the net, but runs into a cage that was hidden in the bushes. And Cartman demands that the leprechaun tell him where his gold is, or else he dies. But the leprechaun teleports out of the cage. He tells the boys he was supposed to. I was supposed to warn him a terrorist attack by the maid, but you made me late. And
The
then
end is near.
the end is there now because of you. So Cartman then shows the contract that Kyle signed, saying that if he could prove there was a leprechaun, that he would have to suck his balls. Which this, of course, leaves Kyle speechless. But the best part about this scene here, and I mean, I can show the leprechaun, but I think the key point of this paragraph that I'm reading to here is later that night at Kyle's house, Cartman arrives while the Broflovski family is eating dinner so that Kyle could fulfill his end of the bargain, and Kyle kind of refuses to do so. So I want to jump to that scene because I think that's where we should pick up here in the show because, like I said, you know what a leprechaun looks like. You get it.
We had an agreement, Cat.
But I do also like the opening here. Let me just jump into this. The opening of this episode is really cool. You do this nice animation. SouthPark present. Kyle sucks Cartman balls.
Flying through space.
The Trilogy!
Like aliens doing this.
Trilogy. All right, so now we jump into Cartman now showing up here at the Broflovskis.
Miss Broflovski, how are you this fine evening?
Oh, hello, Eric.
He
Kyle, your
waited till
friend is
dinner
here.
on purpose.
Hello, Mr. Broflovski. Ike. Nice evening, isn't it?
I hope you're hungry.
Well, Kyle, shall we go up to your room for a few minutes?
Get out of here, Cartman. We're eating dinner.
Kyle, I believe a certain someone is supposed to put a certain set of balls in their mouth.
I'm not doing it, badass.
Right.
Doing what?
We had a deal, Kyle.
Just get out of here.
You signed an agreement, Kyle.
I don't care if I signed an agreement.
Hey now, Kyle, if you made a deal with somebody, you have to stick by
You're
it.
not gonna say that in front of
Players.
Harold
What was
Broflovski.
the agreement?
Thank you, Mr. Broflovski.
That if he could prove leprechauns exist, I would suck his balls.
What?
What
And there was a leprechaun. You saw it, Kyle.
Gerald's face. Scoop pointed that out. Look at Gerald. Just Gerald's reaction. Like, what is going on there?
Yeah. Those ladies. Boys will be boys in this
Courtney
place.
Cox. She's so hot. I love her on that show. Anyway, so the next day, Stan, Kenny, Butters, and Jimmy are all building a snow fort when Kyle walks up. And of course, Jimmy, he's dead. So, how was it?
Down like a clown chili.
And Kyle's like, how was what? He's like, and Stan's like, how was sucking Cartman's balls? And he's like, I didn't suck his balls and I'm not going to. And then Stan's like, well, dude, why did you even agree to that? And that's, again, why would you agree to this? Stan knows. He's like, why would you agree to this? If you looked at over the history of South Park, whether it's been Kenny, whether it's been Stan, whether it's been Butters, whether it's been Cartman, Stan has been intelligent to know not to fuck with Cartman. He has never really fucked with Cartman.
Yep, never.
Yeah, I mean, well, Clyde knows that too from seeing it, but like, you know,
Stan just leaves it to Kyle to be the
close to
pushback
it, you know
against
what I mean?
Cartman.
So Stan knows, like he does not fuck with Kyle. The only time they've ever really gotten in trouble, of course, is I broke the dam. No, I broke the dam. But even then,
Yeah.
I broke the dam.
they got out of it. Stan was trying to be honest and come forward, and
I broke the dam.
I broke the dam.
no, I broke the fucking dam. It was me with the boat. I did it yesterday.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I broke the dam. Shout out to you, Joe Vernola. We were talking about that on Facebook today. It's funny. But also, if you notice this week, there is not going to be a new episode of South Park. We don't know when it is going to drop. There's much debate right now whether it's going to either be March 1st or March 8th. Google says it's March 1st, but according to an individual online who commented, they also stated they saw a scrolling bar along the bottom of Comedy Central that says South Park returns March 8th. However, I would feel if somebody saw that, then other people would have seen it, and then it probably would have been reported by now. So, like, I can't confirm or deny that.
Fans are on it. Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of, if they were having a new episode, you know, the news, they'd advertise it. We get a clip already, at least on the YouTube channel. But also,
there wasn't going to be one this week for sure because of that reason.
And maybe, you know, just hyper speculation. Maybe they're just scared of Meghan Markle. Maybe that's it.
Well, I'm waiting to see. Hopefully, I would like to. I mean, whether it's March 1st or March 8th, I'm excited for them to come back with episode 3. I would prefer it to be March 1st. That's next week. But you know, I'd prefer it to be tomorrow night. But it's not. So you know, there it is. Of course, we're recording this on Tuesday, February 21st, and you're listening to this on Wednesday, February 22nd, there and beyond. And if you are, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching right here on YouTube, you can go ahead and follow us as well on all social media outlets at SouthParkPod, on Twitter at SouthParkPod, on Instagram at SouthParkPodcast, linktr.ee/SouthParkPod. After opening his eyes and realizing he's back home now, Kyle wakes up. Oh, I jumped way too ahead. Okay, so let's go.
Kyle begins sucking Cartman's ball.
Fuck. That read got me all messed up there. So the next day, Stan, Kenny, and Butters, as we mentioned, were building the snow fort. So let's jump to that scene of them building the snow fort and them asking Kyle,
Why?
did you do it?
Was it?
Hey, before we go there, Scoop, go ahead and give me a what? Okay, because you do it pretty well of Sharon's.
What?
Yeah, he does a pretty good one. Yeah, I can't do that one.
Fantastic.
What?
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
So, how was it?
How was what?
Sucking Cartman's balls.
I didn't suck his balls, all right? And I'm not going to.
Dude, why did you ever agree to suck his balls in the first place?
I didn't think there would actually be a leprechaun, and I still don't. Why would
It's
a leprechaun
Cartman.
be warning us of a terrorist attack?
He
There's
would
another
invent
explanation for all
leprechauns.
this.
Excuse me. Have you boys seen a leprechaun anywhere lately?
Jesus Christ.
So we're gonna go ahead and we'll pause it right there.
This dude just came out like that.
Of nowhere. Yeah. So we'll pause it right there
Into the shot.
to explain what happened next here. So a man comes along asking them, of course, if he's seen a leprechaun, and they have this conversation. They say, no, oh yeah, we did see the leprechaun. Oh, you did? That's wonderful, Rick. That's wonderful. And then he basically offers to fly them to Imagination Land to tell them the truth about the leprechaun, which is just fucking weird. Like, why do you need to take somebody all the way to Imagination Land to tell them the truth? Just tell me what's happening here. Why?
Tell him to tell them.
Yeah.
Like, go tell them. Go off. Go
Yeah,
on.
exactly. Why do we have
Shoot
to
him
do
a
it?
text.
So you know, at first all the boys, of course, are like, okay, and they start to move along. But Butters, of course, being in these type of situations, asks the logical question: you're not trying to rape us now, are you? And then the guy stops back for a second, and he goes, no.
Butter seems so dejected as well when we
I don't know.
asked
All right,
this.
I don't know, guys.
It's almost like he's talking from experience. He's like, "No, you're not gonna rape us, are you?" Like he literally, it's like, not again. Come on.
Like he knows. Like he's
Like-
been. He saw the bathhouse where his dad was at. He's been to the bi-curious camp. Like I'm 9 years old, and I'm bi-curious, and I'm
He's
okay
not very
with
good
that.
at wrestling though. The black guy had him held down for 20 minutes.
Triceratops. He's not really good. That whole list, that was great. Everyone knows it's Butters. That's
me.
So let's jump into the imagination song. Of course, after Butters.
What say we all take a ride on my imagination flying machine?
Jesus Christ.
Dude,
Hop aboard, kids. I have something to show you.
are you gonna rape us?
No?
No?
All right, then.
Come on, guys.
Watch out, fellas.
What,
He says
Butters?
that so
I'm pretty sure this guy
flatly.
wants to rape us.
So
All
flatly. He's
aboard
like,
the
all right.
imagination balloon.
Like at that point, you know Butters is down for your crew. Like he's asking the hard
All right,
question.
if a fruity looking dude like this comes down with a hat, he's definitely trying.
Right?
He's trying to rape us.
I just sing the imagination song.
All right, audience, get ready.
Imagination.
Imagination. Imagination.
We get it. I think the audience will get it. too.
Release this on Spotify, Matt and Trey. What are you doing?
So
7-minute version.
The interesting thing is like where they fly. It just looks like they're flying over. Like I've lived in Colorado, so it just looks like they flew over Denver, and then they're just flying out through the Rockies and through the outskirts, and then all of a sudden they just end up in Imagination Land, like all.
Which is obviously in Colorado.
Well, yeah,
Obviously.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Maybe that was the underlying tone, but it was like, why aren't you showing us like a portal or something? How did they get there? Like, it doesn't make any sense because the Earthlings had to figure out a portal, which we'll find out later. Spoiler alert! To get into this episode, to get in here. Beautiful background though,
and absolutely ridiculous. Like the layout of this is like Super Mario Sunshine.
There's
meets
2 moons.
Majora's Mask.
There's
It's
2
ridiculous.
moons.
Yeah,
moons.
2
Endor.
moons.
2 suns.
Is that 2 suns?
That's got to be, yeah, 2
okay.
suns.
Yeah, 2 suns.
A flying giraffe.
A mountain that looks like a wizard's hat.
Oh, you're right. It does look kind of like a wizard's hat. You're a
bro,
wizard.
that's so fucking cool.
You're a wizard, all right. You're a wizard. By the way, start checking your local GameStops. PlayStation 5 seem to be back in stock on shelves. I think this year you can actually get PS5s now. I'm just saying.
Who gives a fuck?
But when I bought my PS5, it was literally because some dude didn't know that you had to like ask them at the counter. They just didn't have them out. So he thought that they were gone. And I literally stood there, watched this grown man go like, oh man, they're out, knowing that they had them and knowing that you had to ask and not saying a fucking word because they only had like one.
Yeah.
And it was like the fucking Horizon edition. I literally, I feel so bad. I'm confessing right now. I saw that and I was like, yeah, bummer, man. And I let him go. And I was like, hey, can I get the PS5?
Look, we're collectors. We're savage. Like we've had to be savage in a while to get what we want. Okay, I have literally been at a Target at 6 a.m. lined up with other people, ran through the store to get one of 6 Pikachu Funko Pops when the first one out. The thing was though, everybody was stupid and ran around the store. Me knowing the Target layout, I just cut directly right through the clothes and went right through. So I didn't even have to run. I just briskly walked fast, and then I was like third in line. Those other 2 guys, they all show up. They're all overweight. This is bullshit. I shouldn't have to run. Fourth guy or fifth guy shows up. He's all pissed. Got one now.
He took the only one that looked like a pony. This is bullshit.
It's the original one, and I think I still have it in the closet. So we're in Imagination Land. So here's what happens. The boys are told that the leprechaun was trying to, I guess, warn the Imagination Land people from wherever he's from, that being Irish, because he's coming from the Middle East, right? So I guess he heard it through the grapevine, and now he's trying to run to Imagination Land to tell him of a terrorist attack. And again, I don't know why they had to get on a balloon, flying an imagination balloon to go all the way to Imagination Land to have the conversation, but they did. And before the boys can tell them, though, a terrorist runs into the crowd and blows himself up, killing a crapload of the Imagination beings. More terrorists arrive, and the boys escape on a dragon's back, all except for Butters, who is left behind, and he gets beaten up by the terrorists.
Poor Butters.
Kyle, could you
Get me out of here, please. Don't leave me here.
Poor Butters.
Damn it.
Poor Butters.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him.
All right, so
That's right. Fuck him.
let's get here to the Imagination Land with them blowing up the Imagination
sorry.
characters and the Lollipop Kingdom. Okay, so before we get into it, here, let's take a look at some of these
Look at the
characters.
thickness of this, dude. They have everybody.
We got Transformers. Who's the Transformer there?
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
That's Opti Boy. We got little
Captain.
Ann and
Count
Andy
Chocula.
over there, bro.
Yep. You got Count Chocula. We got, is that
Candy
Scuzzlebutt
King.
right there? Scuzzle, whatever name is. Then we got Ronald McDonald, Lollipop
Abominable
King.
Snowman.
We got some sort of weird goat looking thing right here. With the
That looked like Mr. Tumnus.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that's Mr. Tumnus. You got a My Little Pony, bro.
Care Bear, Cabbage Patch Kids. I don't know what characters these are. I don't get this reference. I don't know. This is weird. All this stuff here. I don't get
Bigfoot. Oh, they got the
Bigfoot.
blue meanies from motherfucking the Beatles movie. What
Okay.
was that? Yellow Submarine. Oh, they got the little hand from the Yellow Submarine. That's crazy.
Right. All right. And then these aren't even all the characters.
This is one shot, man.
This is
They
one
really
shot.
are they allowed to do this? I guess it's parody. I mean, but they're like exactly.
Oh, here's another shot. Here's another shot here. So we
Is
got
that Mr.
Tracy,
Clean?
Mr.
Mario.
Clean, the Flash.
Bro, it's that little turtle. Remember when we were like 6 or whatever?
Yes, Franklin.
Franklin. Yeah, Franklin. Fucking Franklin about to get blown up, dude.
Coming over to the play.
Oh my
Going
god.
a little. I love Franklin.
Mr. Clean,
my sister
Voltron,
liked
Dick
it.
Tracy.
Mario. It's a me, a Mario. You got Taco, the taco that shits ice cream. That's
Oh
one
my
of those
god,
things.
he is there.
Yeah,
Holy
Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz.
Fucking Peter Rabbit, the Flash.
Voltron.
Some sort of insect here in the corner that looks like it's on drugs or it's drunk or something right here. I don't know what that is.
Oh, dude, that looked like was he from Wacky Race?
Humpty Dumpty. This
Who
looks,
is the dude with the big ears, man? I didn't even notice him in front
Yeah.
of Taco, bro. Who
I
the
don't-
fuck?
I don't know who that is, and I don't know who this is. This supposed to be in the right hand corner next to Franklin? I don't know if that's supposed to be Grover with like ears, something else. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that does. That looks like a Muppet.
Right?
Why does the dude with the ears remind me of a fucked up version of Skeeter from Doug?
Oh,
He
that's-
does. He does. He's got Skeeter skin.
You're right. That is kind of interesting.
I think that might be Prince Harry.
So of course we got Talking Hammer here.
Well, he said there was gonna be a. That there was gonna be a.
Allah!
Terrorist attack.
Oh, fuck no!
Oh right. There's the back of Charlie Brown.
Oh,
He's about to explode here, but before we get there, I want to slowly go through this so we can look at some more characters here, because this is a really good shot here. Okay, wow.
image by image. It's thick.
Where the wild things are.
Oh yeah, Willy
Yeah.
Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Motherfucking Nightmare
Minnie
Before
Mouse.
Christmas. Little what's that? Little Orphan Riding Hood, bitch. Yeah.
Is this supposed to be like some sort of superhero parody of Iron Man or something like that? An old one, the left hand.
No, I swear that's like a real dude. Is that what's his name? Rocket Man or like
Rocket Man. Oh okay.
Yeah, the
something like that?
Rocketeer.
Oh, the
Rocketeer.
old
Yeah, that dude
show
looked like
from
the
the 60s and
Rocketeer.
70s. It's always on MeTV and shit. I know what you're talking
That's the
They made
motherfucking
that
old.
movie out of it.
about. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Exactly.
That's fucking
Bro,
weird.
wait a minute.
Does
Who's
this
that
look like
bitch
a,
in the front?
does this look like a decrepit Wonder Woman?
Yeah, doesn't it?
No, that's like, oh, it's Gem. It is Gem. She got the stars on her eyes. That's Gem. That's like an old looking Gem. Anyone remember Gem with a J? She was like an 80s cartoon that
No.
did music.
No.
She had like stars on her eyes.
Oh wow,
Next to,
interesting.
next to her, I'm losing my fucking mind.
no,
Right
that's
next
you
to
probably
her,
know. I mean, I don't know. Oh, look
is
here.
the
left hand-
Hawaiian Punch dude, bro. I'm fucking losing my mind at that. It's the old Hawaiian Punch.
Yo,
dude.
he's right. It's the
Look at that motherfucker, man. He's running.
Yo, and then all the way in the top left, if you look here in the left under the church, is the guy from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, is that Link on top of some giant's head?
Oh, you're right. That is totally got to be Link up there, dude.
That's like Kid Link.
Who's he on top of?
I don't know. I
Oh
can't-
man. Look at the blast radius though. Bigfoot's fucked. Blue Meanie's
All right,
fucked. Ron McDonald's gonna get some shrapnel.
Slowing it down here,
Wait. Oh man. All right, we've got our first
Alright.
explosion.
and then here comes.
That's a good slowdown right there.
You really see the animation here
Charlie
as they
Brown.
all die.
His leg dies. Charlie Brown. I guess he didn't kick it. I guess he can't kick that football anymore, can he?
Damn.
That's fucked up, right?
Damn, boy.
Oh,
Oh, we got what's her name?
I was gonna see either Josie and the Pussycats
Thundercat.
or Thundercats. One
That's
of those
that Thundercats lady, yeah.
Yeah.
We know pop culture, guys. We definitely watch more than South Park.
Cabbage
Raggedy
Patch Kids.
Ann.
Yeah, Raggedy Ann. Or Cabbage Patch Kids as well. Could be one of those two.
Oh, man, Andy's oh man, he's taking too much. He's bleeding
Cupcake,
out.
a talking cupcake there, of course.
No, those are Raggedy Anns because of the hair. Cabbage
sure.
Patch were those were the babies, right? Cabbage Patch, those.
I don't know.
Yeah, those are those weird faced baby things that everybody killed other people to get.
A Care Bear with a bloody eye falling out there.
Blast.
his eye socket.
Blast it, dude. You see Stan. Now, what I like about this part is when after the explosion happens, there's this like He loses his thought of hearing Santa's on fire here.
It's Saving Private Ryan,
It
but
is.
it's Santa.
Ronald McDonald with his arm falling off. It's really dark.
You know, I'm starting to think if this had a budget, like if they did go through with making this a movie, I mean, this scene would be kind of cool.
Right? And that's what we were talking about too. Like it should, like they really wanted this to be a movie. Like their idea set forth. That's why it's a 3-part episode. That you could definitely see they wanted it to be a movie itself. Here's Butters now scrambling to try and get on to the dragon as they're like, we got to get out of here, dude. Jump on my back, boys.
Yeah, ride me. With this motherfucker.
Hold on, fellas! Butters, don't leave me, fellas! Come back!
Ooh, dude, they're just beating him. They're just beating Butters to death.
And that's where Butters is.
Jump on my back, boys.
That's where Butters
got saved by a giant blue dragon. Leave down in the comments if we left out any characters in those shots. Leave those down in the comments,
do
and we'll
that.
be sure to read those.
Hit that subscribe button. After opening his eyes the next day and realizing that he's back at home, Kyle wakes up and initially he thought he'd been dreaming. He's like, oh, it was all a dream. And then, of course, he also thinks that he doesn't have to suck Cartman's balls anyway, without memory that he was, of course, in Imagination Land. So he hits up Stan and he's all like, dude, I had this crazy dream the night before. And then Stan is like, what? I had the same dream. And then just then, of course, Sharon Marsh, Stan's mother, hey, Sharon. Sharon comes into the room, and of course the Stotches, Steven Stotch and Linda Stotch, who it was just recently brought up on either Twitter or Facebook that I saw, and I wanted to put this out here. If you look at the parents' names of the Tolkien's parents, the Blacks, they're the same names. It's Stephen Black and Linda Black, which I thought was interesting. So here's the same parents as well, Stephen Stotch and Linda Stotch. As much as really like those names, or just must be easy for them. Who asked Stan if they've seen Butters. Kyle is shocked to hear that actually all that shit from the day before actually did really happen. Very scary.
Oh, fuck.
So we jump over to the government now. We're at the Pentagon as General Dechter, I guess was what his name is, Dechter, talks to his audience explaining of the attack on the imagination of everyone. He then broadcasts a video of terrorists sent, which features Butters reading out a statement that was written for him, of course, and Butters ends it, as you guys mentioned. Hey, Stan. Hey, Kyle. Could you get me out of here, please? So we see that, and then we're going to jump over to court here. Cartman has now taken his case to Kyle against him in court about him not sucking his balls. So the judge declares that if Kyle does not suck Cartman's balls within the next 24 hours, he will be arrested.
Get scooped.
He's going to get scooped.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have dire news. Yesterday, at approximately
General
1800
Dechter.
hours, terrorists
Dechter?
successfully attacked our
Fort Dixon
imagination.
just has nothing on it.
BBCKTER.
Our imagination?
Yes, I
How?
said
The imaginary attack appears to have been at works for years. The
Dechter.
effects of the attack are
General
so far
Dechter.
unimagical.
unimaginable.
We've intercepted this videotape the
Oh
terrorists
my
made
God.
for broadcast.
Yeah, my God.
Luckily, we've kept it from being broadcast to the public.
In front of the tied-up characters, and one of them's dead.
Oh, the Twinkie.
The Twinkie cowboy.
my
Let
God.
him go.
Later in the video, we can see another imaginary hostage. This one reading a forced statement.
Praise to the mighty Allah, whose divine grace and will have brought forth this day.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Now
jeez.
see, your safety is at our whim. This is the price you pay, America. You have defiled Allah, and now we shall turn your imagination against you. Death to the infidels! Can I go now?
Can I go now?
Here it comes.
Could you get me
No, Butters. I mean, he gave that passion, Matt. He gave that skill.
He gave the passion. He gave the skill. He had the desire.
The desire.
But he really acted the shit out of that scene.
That's what I'm saying, man. He's got acting talent. That's why I
Yes.
pointed it right to you.
The actor, well, Butters was good. Let's go here to the court scene here.
He did willingly and knowingly sign a contract, and yet, as to date, he has made no effort, nor does he show any intention of ever sucking my balls. I've given him ample time to fulfill his obligation, and he has thus refused. I stand before you with dry balls, Your Honor.
Oh,
Provide
man,
witnesses
who hasn't
like
been there?
testimonials, and still, my balls remain dry.
We all been there.
I want what
In
I'm entitled
court.
to.
Judge Judy.
Mr. Broflowski, did you agree to orally imbibe Mr. Cartman's scrotum and testicles?
Really?
I
This is what it feels like.
Is this not your signature on the contract?
But
Come on, really?
Hey,
I mean,
you
aren't
can't,
there more important things
can't
going
sign
on
shit
right now?
like that,
From what
Kyle. You
I've
should
been
know.
presented and the evidence put forth, the court has no
You
choice
can't.
but
The start of
to
your
place
downfall.
Mr. Cartman's pubical sac in your mouth and draw upon it succulently for no less than 30 seconds.
No
You
less
have
than
24
30
hours to suck
seconds.
aforementioned balls. If
It
after
is
that time
now
you've
on
still refused-
record.
It is now on record. If he refuses, he will be arrested. Unfortunately for Kyle, it's now in the court of law.
And that's
Yes.
a precedent. That's a precedent, guys. Like,
It does
literally.
become a precedent. We saw a precedent in
Yeah.
Broflovski versus Cartman.
Yeah, literally, a sucking balls in the courts is a minimum 30 seconds succulently. You know what I mean?
man, that is gonna be one long 30 seconds for Kyle.
So this was definitely, back to your point, Dane, earlier about them wanting to make a movie. In the next scene here, this is clearly them taking a shot at some directors, right? Because at the Pentagon, General Decker and his team have invited all the filmmakers who are imaginative and can help. And the first filmmaker is M. Night Shyamalan.
You said imaginative.
And is no help, who can only think of bizarre plot twists that have nothing to do with the events happening. We get to Michael Bay, who's no help either, as all he does is think of explosive action scenes and over-the-top special effects. And despite, however, them being part of the Pentagon, as I pointed out to Scoop, this made no sense that Mel Gibson had to point this out. Mel Gibson manages to come up with an idea and says that they should review the video and see if anyone is not fictional or imaginary, which you would have thought that the government would have probably done that in the first place, doing a background check, especially with a child and the terrorists. The terrorists are probably not imaginative, right? So
You think the government cares about children, Matt?
whoa, Dane.
They're eating them. Eating them inside of pizza
Whoa.
restaurants. This is
Whoa.
Alex Jones here.
Yeah, extra cheese.
Whoa.
More pepperoni, please.
Wow.
They're taking kids by the dozen and selling them like eggs. That's why our eggs are so expensive. They're filled with children. Alex Jones.
Jesus. I did see a TYT clip that popped in my YouTube the other day, or maybe it was yesterday. It was uploaded. It was like, Alec Jones thinks we eat babies or something like that. And it was like a clip of the guy, I don't know what his name is, Chank or whatever, and he did an interview with somebody, and the guy was doing a thought experiment, and then he said one thing, and he'd be like, that'd be as horrible as me saying, like, we should eat babies. So, like, Jones took this out of context and then, spewed that to his audience. He goes, you see? They want to eat babies.
They want to eat babies.
They want to eat babies.
I thought you guys were just joking about this. I didn't. This guy's
That's why his name is Joe Biden. He's going to Joe Biden them babies.
Wow. Well, let's jump into this clip here. That's a good segue. Babies and M. Night Shyamalan. As we jump into Cartman here, we jump into the Pentagon here with them talking with all the movie
Days
filmmakers.
ago, Muslim terrorists
knock at the
hijacked our imagination. Frankly, we don't know what their next move is or
Look at
how
him.
to stop them.
In
Look
times
at
like
him.
these, the government often turns to Hollywood for help. You creative filmmakers can think of ideas we just can't.
That's why we've asked you here. M. Night
Creative
Shyamalan.
filmmakers.
The
M.
Sixth
Night
Sense, Signs, The Village,
Shyamalan.
all very clever films. But can you use your amazing idea brain now to help us stop the terrorists?
It's just like with Phil Collins and la.
I mean,
What if it turns out they aren't terrorists, but they're actually werewolves from the future?
From the future.
that was one of his movies.
No, they're terrorists. They've been
What?
linked to Al Qaeda.
But what if Al Qaeda, it turns out, is the group being terrorized by aliens?
Aliens.
No,
That was also one of
that's
his
not
movies.
an idea.
This is my favorite
That's
one,
a
though.
twist.
That's my favorite one
We
here.
need ideas.
How about we make everyone think that terrorists attacked us? But really, we were all already dead.
Get out of here.
That's literally another one of his.
Mr. Bay,
That's
can you
literally.
think of any
Oh
ideas
my
how to
god.
outwit these terrorists?
That's literally the
I
last
think I
movie.
can. We start by making a big CG building, and then we have a meteor go, "Rosh!" and then it's all like, "Claw!" and then motorcycles burst into flame while they jump over these helicopters, right? No. We need ideas how to stop the terrorists. An 18-wheeler spins out of control, and it's all like, "Rosh!" in this huge tanker full of diamonds. Craw! Those aren't ideas. Those are special effects.
I don't know the difference.
I don't understand the difference.
I know you don't. Get him out of here.
And of course,
And
amazing.
being that
This
we are all
definitely should have
big
been in
Mel
theaters.
Gibson film
Mel
fans,
Gibson
we thought
appears
maybe
without
you
a
could
shirt
help
on.
us.
This is great.
Ah, my nipples, they hurt.
They hurt.
Twist
I
them.
heard about twist him.
Twist 'em.
Twisting his
Yes,
nipples.
I don't suppose you have any creative
They have
ideas
these images
how
of
to
his
fight these
face for
terrorists.
decades.
How about this? You have that videotape that the terrorists made, right?
Right,
Well,
so he's the
maybe
only
if
one
you-
that comes up with the logical solution. As we mentioned, you should do a background check on the people that are in the video, and anybody that's not imaginative, you should question them, obviously. The only
Say
one-
what you want about Mel Gibson. By God, that motherfucker knows story structure.
That's right. By God, that no story material, no script writing. So yeah, that's a good point. And so now we're back in Imagination Land as we're surveying the residents question what the terrorists are doing to Rockety Rocket. They realize he is going to break down the barrier that borders off the evil side of Imagination Land. And the strange man tells Butters he must think of a way to save them. You have to do it. You have to fucking do it, right? And then shortly thereafter that, we go to Cartman's house. His Cartman is holding a party because Kyle has to suck his balls. Craig says Kyle's not going to show up, but then all of a sudden, Clyde alerts him that Kyle is coming up the path. And then as he prepares to suck Cartman's balls, he and Stan are taken away in a military helicopter to the anger and anguish of Cartman after he runs after them, screaming.
Get back here, Kyle. We're on an agreement, kid.
All right, so let's jump back into Imagination Land, as I mentioned, and they're yelling at Butters to think of an idea.
Excuse me, Mr. Terrorist, sir? I'm actually not imaginary, and, my parents are gonna ground me if I don't get back. Okay, sorry.
Can you tell what the terrorists are doing?
They're doing something to Rockety Rocket. Nah, leave me alone. Ah!
It doesn't make sense. What do they want with Rockety?
The only reason they would... Oh my god.
Oh my God.
They're gonna blow up the barrier!
What's the barrier?
The wall! The wall which separates the evil side of Imagination Land from the good side! No! No, you can't blow up the barrier! Are you insane?
We can't let this happen.
It'll be the end of Imagination Land.
Yeah! You have to stop
will
them,
it?
kid!
Me? What am I supposed to do?
Don't you get it? If the terrorists blow that barrier, all the most evil things I've ever imagined
Losing
are gonna
his
pour out and
mind
take
at
over
this
Imagination Land for good! You have to do something!
Dun 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 dun.
Gets very emotional there. Very emotional. All right, so now we jump into Cartman's party here. Show
Bugs.
here.
Thanks for coming,
oh my
everyone.
God.
The big moment
Got
is almost here.
rugs.
As soon as Kyle arrives-
and
Forgot.
I want that.
Dressed like a
Show up,
Persian
suck your balls, dude.
sultan.
He has to. He's been
Or
ordered by the
a
court.
robot of that. I want that.
Hey, he's here. What? Move that! Dude, you really have to do it? Let's just get this over with.
Is he gonna do
Yes,
it like in
come
front
on
of
in,
everybody? Is
peasant
this what
cow.
this is? I hope so.
Well, what ends up happening is we mentioned the military comes and they grab Kyle and Stan before anything can be done. Because, of course, as we mentioned, Butters at the end of the video said, Stan, Kyle, can you get me out of here? So they went and got Stan and Kyle. And we'll go back to Cartman here because Cartman does have a good ending clip here. So I didn't want to overshow the sucking the ball stuff here. So now we jump back into Imagination Land. This is another, both really two good ways, two speeches here are two good things, the way to end this episode, monologues, if you will. First here's Butters, and he tries to plead with the terrorists. Don't you think we shouldn't do this? Just going around and blowing up things, and they end up doing anything. And that was your plan. As Butters thinking a heartfelt speech would actually have an
An impact.
impact on these terrorists who are just here to blow up this imagination land and get all the evil people out. And then we end the episode, Cartman hitchhiking and he gets picked up by a truck driver. And Cartman explains that when a man's been robbed, he doesn't care about danger. And he takes a picture of Kyle and lustfully wipes his fingers around the picture of Kyle, telling him he's going to suck his balls. You will suck my balls. Before this day is over, you will suck my balls. And then that's how the episode ends. So we're going to jump into these last two clips here as we wrap up this episode on Imagination Land Part 1 right here for SMB South Park Review number 166, since we've actually got the number right this time. So here's Butters about to give his speech.
Now, you really should think about this. I mean, I know you think attacking our imagination will get you somewhere, but will it really? If you destroy that wall, all the most evil parts of our imagination are going to break loose. But will it really make you terrorists feel better?
Feel better.
Maybe it's time for us all to just get along.
What a fucking kid.
Jesus Christ, no! That was your plan to stop them?
Yeah, a nice little heartfelt speech.
That's fucking stupid!
Take that, all of South Park, said South Park.
That was, I mean, I don't know if it was stupid.
Self-report.
I mean, I don't know if it was stupid. It was definitely something you would see in a cliche movie, right, where you think it might work. So
Kyle's just better at those. You know, if Kyle was here, he could probably get everyone to get along. But you know what? He's not. So Butters just can't do the speech.
That's fair. That's fair. So they end the episode with the to be continued here, as we mentioned, with now Cartman in the truck driver's car explaining what's going to happen. And if you listen closely,
glad I picked you up, kid.
I pick up on
It's
some audio
dangerous
from
for someone your age to be
one of our
hitchhiking.
original intros.
Yeah, well, when a man has been wronged, he no longer cares about danger.
You going to Washington to visit family?
Duck my butt.
Got unfinished business. You go through life being told there's justice. Then you learn that the only real justice is the justice you take.
It's to take you.
Make no mistake,
He's dressed like Rambo.
before this is over, you will suck my balls.
I was sent to war.
Should have been a movie, dude. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. If they had the budget, if they had the power.
So we'll come back right now on the other side with some trivia, pop culture references, and more after we hear a quick note from our sponsors provided by Spreaker. We'll be right back. Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park Review on Spotify, Apples, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed. You'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park Review. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side. Once again, shout out to our sponsors that are provided by Spreaker. If that's where you're listening on the podcast, we appreciate you, as well as if you watch right here on YouTube. We appreciate you. Well, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Go ahead and follow us on all platforms at SouthParkPod, Linktr.ee/SouthParkPod, or on Twitter with an S, SouthParkPods, and South Park Podcast on Instagram. Also, hit us up on TikTok, SouthParkPod there as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen here, as we've been doing things a little bit different, of course, I'm your host in the heat and it can't be beaten. Your guy who's high where the air is dry, your boy, MSG. Each and every week I'm joined by 2, 3 guys or more as we break down South Park for you. And on this side of the episode, we like to recap the pop culture references, some trivia, and our final thoughts. So stick around with us. We'd appreciate if you did so and leave your comments. Give us your feedback on what you thought about this episode as well. But I am not alone. Ladies and gentlemen, back on the podcast this week, the OG, the Mac Daddy, the S to the C, the double OP.
What? I was like, wait a minute.
Scoop. There
Scoop,
is.
scoop, scoop.
Back throughout the podcast, Mr. Ian Colano, a.k.a. Scoop Jackson. Scoop Jackson.
Scoop.
And of course,
Stupid sons.
And of course, this man likes to bring pain in the digital marketing game. This man likes to get those clicks for your picks. Director, writer, producer, casting couch director.
Hey, on the download. My goodness, got to make your bread somehow. Jeez.
Dane Becker.
Yeah. What up, dude? Imagination Land Part 2. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Mr. Becker. Having you welcome. Thank you for joining us once again, as you do. And of course, shout out to our boy, the man who's got a doctorate in thugonomics, puckonomics, polyphonics, scooponomics, botany, and a list of other things.
Botany.
He's the 2022 Red Rocks Day 1 South Park Trivia Champion. He is also affectionately known as a trivia god. He is the writer as well as booker. And he does some announcing for them, and as well as other promotions for primosprowrestling.net. So go ahead and check them out on fight.tv, primosprowrestling.net. If you're in the Denver area, once a month they're live at the Rocks that you could be on Fight, or just order it for like $5 as part of that package. You can get all those wrestling shows. So, I mean, if you already ordered, just go ahead and check it out. It's probably free for you. Also, you can check out, I think he's got an event coming up in March at the Colorado Springs. You can go find him on Facebook or just find Primos Pro Wrestling. I'm sure you'll see all the posts there. Shout out to you, Mr. Joe Vernola. All right, let's get into here some trivia here, and then Scoop's going to read us some pop culture trivia. As stated in the commentary, this trilogy of episodes is intended to be a substitute for a second South Park movie, even though South Park Studios did consider making it into a feature film. Indeed, as well, some home video releases were made that included imagination parts where 1 through 3 separately to the regular release of the entire season with some extra scenes. Basically, if you go back in the day when they put this out on, it would have been DVD. They put it in, they edited it into a way to where it was one long feature, so it didn't stop. And then they added in some deleted scenes, right, which weren't shown in the original airings. That decision to make these 3 episodes rather than another movie is likely because the first film, Team America World Police, proved to be difficult to produce while also making the show, as well as we saw they burnt out back in season 3, because if you go back and listen to them, they feel like one of their worst episodes of all time, they don't even remember, is the sexual harassment panda episode, which was the episode that immediately followed Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Sexual harassment
Panda. Oh, I'm a sad panda.
Hey, if that's them at their worst, then my God, we don't deserve their best.
Right? Tell you what, sweetheart, this is the only episode of Imagination Land trilogy to actually feature or where Kenny appears in it, as he would not appear in the next 2 episodes, as it mainly focused on Stan, Cartman, and Kyle. Yeah. This episode, along with other 2 parts of the trilogy, won a 2008 Emmy Award in the category of Outstanding Animated Programming for programming 1 hour or more. Ooh, this is also the first and only time the show had been nominated for this particular award category, as well as the 3rd overall Emmy Award, as far as them winning it.
Well, I mean, this is the 2nd time it's technically a special that's in an hour or more, right? I mean, if you put the whole thing together, it's basically an hour and 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're right, because technically speaking, they'd only done 2-parters prior to this, so they couldn't have been nominated.
And then until now.
Right, because we had Are You There, God? It's Me, Jesus. Or no, we had Do the Handicap Go to the Hell? And then Probably. And then we also had Go God Go and Go God XVII, which was a 2-parter as well. So yeah, this is the first 3-parter, so that's why they got nominated, right? Yeah, for more than 1 hour, because if you put them all together, it would probably be like, with extra animated scenes, an hour and whatever minutes, yeah. So the terrorists speak Arabic with a Syrian accent, just some trivia for you. And in the scene where the terrorist is holding a Care Bear's head and screaming threats into the camera, he is actually saying in English, it would be translated to, "Can you please give me pine nuts with my syrup drink?"
That's pretty great.
Okay.
I dig it.
Perfect.
All right, so Scoops here's going to take over. He's going to read us some references to pop culture.
Superman, the title sequence, Kyle sucks Cartman balls, the trilogy. So, okay. That's what I recognize that from, the original, or no, not the original, but the Christopher Reeve Supermans. The Superman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the opening title sequence. Superman, the title sequence. Right, so there was the Superman title sequence with Cartman sucking. Yeah, exactly.
And then Dragonheart, a voice like Sean Connery, and the dragon who rescues the boys after the terrorist attack. Get on my back!
Get on my back!
My back.
Saving Private Ryan, like you said, the scene in which Stan is crouched under the giant mushroom right after the suicide bomber explodes is almost a shot-by-shot recreation of the scene from the movie. The scene is mimicked right down to Ronald McDonald reenacting the infamous shot of a man picking up his own dismembered arm off the ground.
Incredible.
And then we have The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and the scene where Rockety Rocket has met his death. The barrier that separates the good and evil sides of Imagination Land begins to crack. The mayor of Imagination Land states they are coming. This is a direct reference to Gandalf's translation of the Dwarf runes prior to the Fellowship's oncoming battle in Moria. You know, I kind of want to rewatch The Lord of the Rings. It's been a long time.
They're great. Extendeds. Put them on anytime. They'll take you to another place.
I have those. My mom got me the extended versions, and she's got the extended versions. We've spent like 4 or 5 hours out of her way back when we lived in Texas. We'd sit down and we'd watch it all of them from back to front. The most amazing part of that movie, not to try and go off on a tangent, but their Battle of Moria, that whole setup,
so good,
was
dude,
just
right?
incredible.
Oh my god. My god. Iconic on a level that just will never be matched.
Mm-hmm. And then Stargate, the Imagination Doorway military base, and Kurt Russell being hired to go through it are a reference to the 1994 movie. Did they already do that in this episode?
yet.
I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Are we kind of going a little ahead on this?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they were at the military base. It might have been in the background somewhere that maybe we didn't catch it or something.
Yeah.
The theme of the Imagination Doorway is also quite similar and sounds like a sound alike or a cover of the original Stargate theme.
Oh, maybe that's why they were. Maybe we missed the Stargate theme or something.
Okay, there it is. All right. Rambo First Blood. In the last scene of the episode where Cartman is getting rid of the trucker, getting a ride from the trucker, Cartman is dressed exactly like Sylvester Stallone's character Rambo. Green army jacket, red undershirt, and brown traveling bag and fingerless gloves. Cartman quotes the movie line, "When a man has been wronged, he no longer cares about danger."
Yes, you have until you justice you take.
You can skip the next one. That one probably is too far ahead as far as pop culture.
The Patriot, Cartman's final line?
No, this one.
Oh, the Abyss?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the man who brings the boys to Imagination Land and likewise his balloon are a parody of once popular Dreamfinder character from the new closed attraction Journey into Imagination at Epcot Center's Journey into Imagination.
This sounded about like some Disney
Oh,
shit.
which was open from 83 to 98.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to that?
No.
No. Dane?
No.
Disney
It
World?
was never that kind of person to begin with.
Same.
All right. And last thing here.
Butter's final plea with the terrorists before they unleash Rockety Rocket is reminiscent of Rodney King's appearance during 92 Los Angeles riots to ask, "Can we all just get along?"
All right, and some final things here, some references to continuity. The truck driver at the end of this has previously appeared in Butt Out, Free Will's Yak, and Smuggler, among others.
Give that cigarette
He's the ongoing Stan look-alike truck driver. Mel Gibson previously appeared, of course, in the Passion in the Deer. I saw Mel Gibson Passion in the Deer, Kyle.
67 times, Kyle.
They didn't know serial killer pariahs get free. Which takes this movie great arc, anyway. At the foot of Kyle's bed, when he wakes up, we can see a stuffed animal from the episode Chimpokemon. And of course, this bet is actually kind of reminiscent between Kyle and Cartman, as they did in Red Hot Catholic Love, where Cartman bet Kyle that one could defecate through one's mouth. And that one as well. And guess who was right in that case? It was Cartman. So why didn't Kyle learn from his previous mistake?
It's kind of a reoccurring thing with Kyle. He sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it's either he overestimates or underestimates Cartman.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
it's a character flaw.
Underestimates, or he thinks like he's
definitely underestimates him. I think it's just that ego, the fact that he doesn't want Cartman to be right at all costs will cause him to just not understand that Cartman will do anything to be right at all costs.
I made someone eat their parents. What? Nothing.
Well, wrapping up this episode, Scoop, what did you think of this episode?
I mean, it's not bad. This trilogy is an iconic. There's nothing really wrong with the episode. It's kind of like that build up. It's got something coming, and it's coming hard.
Do you feel like, and I'll ask this to you in a second, Dane. I'll get your same response. Scoop, do you feel like this episode, this trilogy needs to be watched in one sitting to be appreciated?
Yes. I think it's better. Personally, I wish that we would have sat down and just did it straight through. I wanted to say maybe we should hold off on the pop culture and all the references till the end, so that way we can just stick it all together. But you can break it up. You can do that. It's fine either way. But to fully enjoy, I think you need to take out the breaks in between and just watch it one full movie.
You can treat these like episodes, even though they are.
Before we get your response here, Dane, I just want to also say, of course, for the purposes of the podcast, we have to do this in 3 parts. But that being said, Dane, what did you think? I mean, do you think would you rather prefer sitting down and watching this all in one go, or do you like the breakup?
Always. It's one of those things. It's like if you go into this or you go into the beautiful Black Friday trilogy and you're not watching all of them, you're not watching them. You're not. You know, it's just one of those South Parkian things. Most of them are singles, but these you have to sit down for like an hour and 10.
So
I have to go home now, and I have to finish. I have to rewatch the trilogy from episode 1 to episode 3. Now I have to do it.
It's like,
it's like that song with Cartman.
Come sail away, come sail away. Come sail away.
You have to finish it. Yep.
So sailing away.
So never go west for the emergency, because I've got to be free to live a life that's ahead of me.
Anyway, there you go. Well, Dane, clearly the song.
Killing it.
So I thought this was interesting, as they, of course, noted in the commentary that they had initially thought about making this a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You referenced Black Friday trilogy, and that could even be said that could be a movie, right? It's interesting that they have all these, arcs. And one that I almost feel like is the true sequel and a half, if you will, South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut 1.5, which we won't get till later seasons, is with the when they get millennials against Canada, when Kyle revives that, when Garrison's in office. Like, I feel like that 2-parter where they blow up Canada is like almost a true sequel, because that was what the war was about to South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut, was them versus the Canadians. So, and then Kyle kind of revives that. Instead of being mothers against Canada, it becomes millennials against Canada. So, and Kyle, of course, then appears on TV. Can I have advantage? Can I have advantage? Okay, advantage. It's the same guy, right?
Can I have advantage?
The same Canadian. They make those same jokes. I almost feel like could be technically the sequel, or at least like a sequel to the original story. But as far as trilogy, this is the first trilogy, wins an Emmy. Dane, what did you think about overall part 1 of this episode? Them setting up, trying to put yourself maybe back in that mindset of if you're only watching one episode at a time at a weekly basis.
It's definitely intriguing. It definitely sets up everything that it needs to in the first episode. Because if this was a 3-act structure, it probably would have been the same way. They might have added an extra 10 minutes to get you to act 2, which each episode is definitely almost split up into the acts, but they do have their own solo story. So this did start it up, and then you got a nice finisher to it, which was that's all cool. Without the rest, standing on its own is obviously not going to make sense, but it is a dark episode if you really look at it solo. It's hilarious, but you are watching your childhood dreams get destroyed, which what I'm saying is dude, if this could have had a budget with the look, if they could have really done the Saving Private Ryan thing, that would have been brutal and hilarious.
There were a number of things production-wise. I think that also television-wise, you can probably get away with more of a parody style of making fun of these characters instead of being in a motion picture where there's probably a lot more licensing that they have to go through, or maybe, I don't know. I was just thinking from a worldwide theatrical release, there's probably different rules and stuff like that from television aspect. Right? I mean, because in the end of the day, even if this episode got banned from TV, they would just put it out on fucking their website or on DVDs, and people still would have bought this. So, it's a comedy. Their basic Comedy Central's at the mercy of them at that point. Oh, crap, I guess, all right, we'll show it. You know what I mean? So, when you got a little bit more power there, I can see why you can push the envelope more on the Comedy Central side versus trying to do it in the theatrical portion. But yeah, they kill off a lot of characters, kills off a lot of your imagination, your childhood, if you will. Rockety Rocket. Taking out all the evil characters as they're coming through the barrier as the episode ends. You see guys like Freddy Krueger and other people like that. And we didn't show clips of that, but you can check that out imagery wise.
There's so many. It's one of my favorite parts. It's so many.
It's a great episode overall. I enjoyed the episode, and I love the focus of Cartman being so adamant that Kyle is going to suck his balls.
Suck my
back.
And as I mentioned when we were playing the ending clip there, for those who have been longtime listeners, or maybe you're just now getting around to it, if you've been jumping around, you haven't noticed the first 111 episodes, we had a different intro, and part of that intro, I used that backing track from this episode because I think it was just like a generic guitar riff that they used from somewhere, so like it wasn't like copyrighted. But I found it, and I was like, dude, I'm totally gonna use this.
Intro for a year or two.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Yeah.
So, just about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of this episode, that brings to another conclusion. Of SMB. South Park Review.
Oh, yeah.
We are, of course, here each and every week. We'll try to see if we can come back live next week on twitch.tv/SouthParkPod as well as on SouthParkPod on YouTube. But if not, we'll be here on YouTube.
No matter what, we will turn in for you, kind viewer.
So I most likely drop the YouTube videos either Wednesday or night or Thursday generally, so you can see it. It always comes out on podcast version first, though. Each and every Wednesday morning it's there. So you can go ahead and download, hit that like and share and subscribe button, share it with your friends, tell your mom, dad, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your nephew, your butler, and your maid. Tell them that they should all get laid.
Butler.
And suck my balls.
Suck my balls.
And suck the balls of Matt Stone, Trey Parker. Scoop, anything to plug before we go today?
It's at my balls.
There you go.
Nice.
Man with the digital marketing game who doesn't like to play any games, who's fuck around and he'll fuck you in the face. Let's do it! Dane Becker. Yeah, sorry. Got a little aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little aggressive there, sorry.
No, that's quite all right. Hello, everybody. This is me, Dane Becker, here to lead you out at the end of the show. If you were asking me to pitch something today, it would be the United Wrestling Network's Derby City Wrestling, starting Sunday, March 26, 2023 at the Norton Healthcare Sports and Learning Center, 3029 West Muhammad Ali Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40212. When is it going to start? 5 p.m. How much is it going to be? $12 only. Where can I get tickets? Well, my friend, you can go to Derby City Wrestling on Facebook or derbycitywrestling.tv. Talent subject to change without notice.
All right, so float like a butterfly and sting yourself like a bee over to the ATM, get some cash, and go buy some tickets on Muhammad Ali Boulevard at the United Wrestling Networks.
It's going to be jam-packed. We're going to have people from Impact. We're going to have people from Japan. We're going to have people from AEW. We're going to have people from WWE. And we're going to have people just like you, the kind viewing audience, giving us your $12 for a ticket price.
If you happen to live in the Phoenix area, tomorrow night I will be at All Elite Wrestling. And if you're listening to this on Wednesday morning and you want to hit up with me, send me a DM. We can take pictures.
Say hi to Matt.
Come say hi. I'll be wearing my AEW gear like a mark that I am.
Or hey, if you're around the marquee on Friday, I'm seeing August Burns Red with Devil Wears Prada.
Ooh, what the fuck, bro? I'm going to grab my Vans and we are getting down. Holy shit, I want to go to that show. Are you serious?
Yeah, I got VIP tickets for August Burns Red.
Boy, fuck you.
Yeah. So dope.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you stopping by. Once again, shout out to our boy,
Segment man.
Dirty JV. Dirty JV. You can go ahead and, as I mentioned, check out PrimosProWrestling.net for the next upcoming monthly event live at the Roxy, which is also on Fight.tv. If you go on Primos Pro Wrestling on their Facebook, I'm sure you can keep up to date with the next upcoming events if you're in the area, or if you're just looking for some new, different wrestling as you're perusing through all the bountiful amount of pro wrestling that is available on Fight.tv there. So go ahead and check that out. I don't know if he probably wants me to plug his regular socials, so just PrimosProWrestling.net.
Yeah. And it's so good. It's so good. He books it. He writes it. It's delicious. Go to it.
Oh, it's delicious.
Well, ladies and
gentlemen,
that's going to do it. for another edition of SMB. We'll be back next week with Imagination Land Part Deuce. Will Cartman get Kyle to suck his balls? Will Kyle and Stan get Butters out of Imagination Land? And what happens when Kurt Russell shows up? Find out next week.
Find out!
Skip!